Hello all, and welcome to this early morning beer review. It is now 12:02 in the morning, so perfect time to do a beer review. And I'm going to dub this beer review I hope I haven't gotten like my debit card number stolen, because I went to the gas station. There's a whole bunch of problems with the pump, and you know how it is with those skimmers, or those number skimmers. After all that checking, going to the clerk and everything, I kind of was checking around, make sure that there was no skimmers and everything, yeah, that's what it is. So what are we reviewing tonight? Well, it's actually a very interesting beer, though you wouldn't think so, right away. Why? Well, look at this beer. Pub beer from 10 Barrel Brewing Company. Lager. Looks almost like those generic beers that they used to sell back in the 80s, right? That you see in the movies and whatnot. And of course, 10 Barrel Brewing Company being a craft brewer, though some would arguably say, since, Anheuser-Busch has a partial ownership of them now, they're no longer craft. I think that's the debate that I'm not going to step into at this point. I drink good beer. I don't believe whoever makes good beer gets drank by me, I don't care who makes it. That's beyond me. For me, they're still craft because they're still making craft, they're still making good beer. And they started off as an independent anyway. So, this is 5.0 ABV, and what it is basically an attempt to go and make a craft expression of a classic American, lager. Using all malts, of course, no adjuncts, but trying for that, macro lager sort of feel and taste. What if a craft brewer tried to push for it? And honest to God, this is probably the best expression I've ever had of American pale lager style done by a craft brewer. Most craft brewers don't try to go and match that sort of macro lager beer style, because the macro lagers actually do that sort of thing very well. So most of them, when they try to go and introduce a flagship lager, they usually go to, one of the German or Central European styles. And, have it be a German Pilsner, or a Czech Pilsner, or a Munich Hills Lager, or, a Kolsch, or something like that. Something, that's clean, easy drinking, light, but still within, a sort of foreign style guideline. This is definitely an American pale lager in the style of a macro lager. But, well, I've already kind of yammered on for quite a bit. So let's just get to it, shall we? At 5.0 ABV, it is pretty much bog standard macro lager strength right there. Pouring it, of course, into a Pilsner glass. Ooh, and then I accidentally overpoured. Dripping on the floor. Okay, so, lovely, clear, yellow color. Perfect coloration. With a frothy to fizzy white head. Very visible carbonation, as you can see here. Very sweet, honeyed. You get that malts right away. So sweet, honeyed malts, very biscuity, with floral hopping. Not very much of the mineral edge that you would get from Pilsners. Not very much of that, I would say, sort of pillowy kind of smell that I get from Czech Pilsners or Munich Hells, but just that sort of, very clean, simple smell that you would get from a macro lager. Sweet up front. Almost corny sweet. Probably no corn in this because, it doesn't say adjunct. Very refreshing. Biting carbonation. Sweetness mostly clears the palate for a mild, noble hop bitterness, and it has floral aspects to it. Nicely clears the palate. no real complexity here. You know, there's not really, just like in a macro lager, there's not really hints of other flavors or, you know, sort of style guidelines to kind of stick by. It's just clean, clear, biting, and refreshing, something you pound on a hot summer's day. Bitterness tends to increase as you drink it on and on, almost as if the hop is laying on the tongue. Still not a lingering bitterness, still, you know, still just helping to clear the palate. And it's just a wonderful sort of transition. None of the off notes that can often come with this style. No metallic kind of notes. No overly corny notes. No cloying sweetness, well, maybe just a little bit. No, but not much of that cloying sweetness that goes past the finish. You're just kind of left with this wonderfully poundable beer. Crushable beer. The fact that it's so clean, you know, so devoid of really any characteristics other than just being a very clean lager, you know, no sort of bad taste, no sort of bad taste aspects, you know, it really just strikes me as a craft brewer, you know, sort of hitting what the big boys are doing and doing it really well, you know. There's still character, there's still taste there. It's not just water. There's sweetness. There's that mild hop bitterness that cleans palate. But, you know, it's beer. A lager as the American Pale style should be. Not very many characteristics, but highly refreshing. So, pub beer. Basically, a craft beer for those who don't like craft beers, I suppose. Would I get this again? Well, it's actually pretty darn affordable. And if I was having a good large party in which there would be plenty of people who don't like craft beer for whatever reason, this would be the one I would get for them. Nope. So, 10 Barrel Brewing Company, go out and try this almost generic looking beer that sort of strives for a generic taste and kind of hits that generic taste right on the nail. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.